Welcome back to the Show Me Show for episode 7. I am Luke Newhouse with my co-host
Cam Milheiser.
And we are back for a little bit of a bonus episode here. This one should be released in the midweek. Probably won't be as long, but we do think it's important to get this will be strictly a college basketball March Madness kind of preview. So Wednesday is like the perfect day to release it because most of the games start on Thursday. So we have the bracket in front of us right now.
Freshly printed.
Yeah.
In color.
Yeah. Selection show just got done about 40 minutes ago. So the bracket's been out a little less than that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of interesting matchups here.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of teams that got left out that aren't on this bracket that we thought maybe probably should be.
One in particular that I just can't believe it. But I think, as Luke's alluded to in some of the prior episodes, it just feels good to have this piece of paper in our hand. The bracket. All 68 teams, West, South, East, Midwest. It just feels good to have it. Can't wait to fill it out here soon. It takes a little time to, do some brain math in your head to figure out who's going to win.
Yeah, look at this. I was having so much fun just watching the selection. So watching the teams just get revealed one by one, trying to guess which teams would be where. It's just so fun to just see this bracket with all 68 teams.
Oh, yeah. And so Gonzaga, the 1 seed, Arizona, the 1 seed in the South. Gonzaga was the 1 seed in the West. Midwest, Kansas, 1 seed. Baylor, the number 1 seed in the East, which is also, we think, is the hardest region.
Oh, yeah.
This bracket.
Gauntlet. That's
filled.
That's also where your North Carolina will play.
Yep, as North Carolina, seeded number 8, set to face off against Marquette. But there's just so many good teams in this side. Baylor, UCLA, Virginia Tech is hot, Purdue, Kentucky, Murray State.
Mm-hmm.
It's just brutal.
I mean, this is Kentucky is probably the best 2 seed on this bracket. Purdue is probably the best 3 seed on this bracket. And UCLA is, with the exception of maybe Illinois, is the best 4 seed on this bracket. I think all 4 of those teams, including Baylor, obviously have a great chance to win the title. And that doesn't include St. Mary's, who we don't know a whole lot about, and Texas also, one of the best 6 seeds. So this is an absolute gauntlet. Murray State, 30-win team, that's the 7 seed. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Indiana actually had a really, really terrible draw in this bracket, having to play the play-in game and then be sat in at the 12 seed in this region of the bracket. That's a terrible draw.
Yeah. And they played Wyoming, who has kind of fallen from the top of the mountain here lately. But
good analogy, because they're in Wyoming.
Yeah. But seriously, I mean, they did have to fight their way into this tournament, and they fought their way into this tournament via the Big Ten tournament. I don't know if they were going to get in if it wasn't for the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
So,
but I think a lot of people, because of that tournament, they had obviously the big win over Illinois, had them higher. Like they had them as maybe a 10 seed or an 11 seed, and not in the play-in game. And I think that goes to show that the committee doesn't really care about conference tournaments that much. We saw that with Texas A&M.
Yeah,
did not get in.
Texas A&M, I think that's the biggest snub of this whole tournament.
Yeah,
I mean, they literally won 8 out of their last 10 in the SEC, and then most importantly, in my eyes, they beat Arkansas in the SEC tournament, and most importantly, they beat Auburn in the SEC tournament. And just for some background here, Auburn was the 5 seed in this entire bracket, but they're the 2 seed in the Midwest. And then Arkansas is the 4 seed in the West.
but Texas A&M doesn't get in. Instead, Texas A&M Corpus Christi. So they have some representation, but maybe not the representation they were looking for. I honestly can't believe that.
Texas A&M went 23-11. They're currently on a 7-game winning streak before the loss. Actually, no.
23-12. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, because that doesn't include today's loss.
Yeah, 23.
Okay, 23-12. Currently on before they lost today, a 7-game winning streak. I think that's a postseason team, and they play in the SEC. That is a team that got snubbed, and not only were they like the first team out or the second team out, they were the fourth team out.
Yeah,
they're behind teams like Dayton and SMU.
Oklahoma, I can see they fought really hard too, and they had some amazing wins this year. I think they had like the most top 15 wins, but they didn't get in.
They just had a lot of losses. The losses that they had killed them. They lost to Oklahoma State and Kansas State, and I think they lost to West Virginia once too. Those losses just killed them.
Yeah,
you can't have those losses if you want to get in the tournament.
We compare the Big 12 basketball conference very comparable to the SEC West football conference. They just beat the hell out of each other, and it's hard to get wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing I do like to note, BYU and Xavier both not in the bracket and also not even in the first 4 out either. So that means they weren't even close to the bracket, which I love to see because Xavier, not only did they have a bad record, but they didn't really have a lot of big wins. And BYU, they didn't hardly play anyone either, and they didn't have near enough big wins to get in. So very happy to see. The surprising thing is that this morning when the selection committee made this bracket, Dayton was in.
Yeah, they said that.
Yeah, the guy that came on
after
really
the show. Dayton.
Yeah, Dayton actually, they only got kicked out because Richmond won, which is in the same conference as Dayton, won their conference tournament this morning. So they get the automatic bid, knock out Dayton. And, that's kind of funny that they had Dayton there of all teams, ahead of Texas A&M and BYU even. I mean, I'm not a big fan of them being in the tournament, but Dayton should not have been in the tournament either. So I think Michigan got a really, really good draw for their record, 17-14.
Incredible
is what it is. Not only are they an 11 seed, not only do they skip the play-in round, they don't have to go to Dayton to play these games, the play-in games, but they probably get one of the easiest 6 seeds behind maybe Alabama in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado State is damn good, but Michigan's battle-tested.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they play by measures this year who got the most teams in, 9 from the Big Ten. Michigan beat a lot of those teams from the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So, I mean, could be rough draw for Colorado State.
Yeah.
But also, with how Indiana played down the stretch, both of us think that Indiana should have been seeded where Michigan is at least.
Oh, yeah. Indiana got probably the worst draw in all of this. Michigan, that actually did have a screw up on my thread a while ago, a few days ago. Michigan lost to Indiana in the tournament. I did tweet out as part of the thread, Michigan has been officially eliminated. Turns out they actually aren't officially eliminated yet. So I'm really hoping for them to lose as soon as possible so that I can get that monkey off my back because that's like over 100 teams, and I'm not going back and deleting 100 teams and retyping them out again. So they're just going to be in the thread.
Can you not just delete one tweet in the thread?
You can, but then all the other ones after get deleted.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I had no idea about that. Wow. That makes it even way worse. Wow.
Yeah, I took a risk when it first happened. I knew that they still were a bubble team, but I didn't think they would get in. So I took a risk in tweeting that out. And, with Richmond and Virginia Tech winning their conference tournaments, I thought for sure Michigan was not going to make it or at least be in the first 4, like the first 4 games. Not the case, though. Severely overrated, I think, Michigan. Really tough draw here for Indiana. And Rutgers is in, though.
Yeah. I'm glad the Fighting Schianos are in.
I don't know how to feel about them. They went on that one stretch where they beat like
Everybody in the Big
Wisconsin,
Ten.
Michigan State. Yeah. Purdue. No, they didn't beat Purdue. That was the one team they didn't beat. Yeah, they went through a gauntlet right there, and they just won every single game. Iowa, I think, was in those games. But they kind of fell off towards the end of the year, so they do have a tough matchup in Notre Dame on Wednesday night, I do believe.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So after this episode will probably come out after Indiana Wyoming play. So Indiana may be out already. Texas Southern and Texas A&M Corpus Christi should have played last night as well. I kind of hope Texas A&M Corpus Christi wins just for the memes, but yeah.
I think one thing that I love in the playing games, 2 of the play-in games are beautiful. Rutgers, Notre Dame, and Wyoming, Indiana. Those are awesome games to be playing games. All 4 of those teams are awesome down late in the season. Obviously, Notre Dame not playing as great, and Rutgers kind of sliding a little bit. But they had a hot stretch there for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And then Bryant and Wright State, Peter, Kiss, and Bryant. I hope that they destroy Wright State so that they have to play Arizona.
No.
That will be fun.
You should have seen.
Arizona, I think, will still win. And, especially if you guys don't have Kerr, your defense suffocated UCLA. I'm talking about Arizona. And it will just be fun to watch the nation's leading scorer, Peter Kiss, against Arizona's defense. I think it just be fun.
Well, Arizona, it would be fun to see the nation's leading scorer versus the nation's leading scoring team in Arizona.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Take the over in that game. You should have seen the reaction on my face whenever I saw that we drew Bryant for the first round. I was in complete that was the one team, because I knew we were getting a 1. That was the 116 seed I didn't want to play. I would have been perfectly fine with Norfolk State or the Kansas draw of the Texas Southern, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. That's it. Kansas. Can we talk about Kansas for a second and their cakewalk that they have as the number 3 1 seed? So obviously they got probably they did get the worst 2 16 seeds. They're ranked 67 and 68 by the selection committee in this bracket. So they literally got the 2 worst. San Diego State and Creighton. You got a non-Power 5 school and another Power 5 school that came from the Big East and had quite a bit of losses. Iowa is a tough draw at 5 for Kansas.
Especially for a Big Ten champion.
Yeah. They're coming in. They're hot. They got a lot of white people on their team. Fran McCaffrey finally won something, so he might actually get a little bit – Fran McCaffrey's their head coach. He might actually get a little bit of confidence from that win where they might go on a run here. Other than that, I don't see any threat to Kansas in that side of the bracket.
If Wisconsin and Johnny Davis get hot, I could see it. But here's one thing about that. Kansas did have the number 1 2 seed by how they rated it. They said that Auburn was number 5 in this whole bracket.
Yeah, they're kind of falling off.
Yeah, exactly. Auburn, as of late, man, they're not hitting their shots that they were hitting at the beginning and the middle of the season. So
Jabari Smith is not the same guy he was at the beginning.
Yeah, they're going to really need, as much as I hate to say it, Walker Kessler step up and maybe throw in a few more buckets than he's used to throwing in and then continue to play stellar defense. They're going to have to be a great perimeter defense team here in this first round. Jacksonville State, great from shooting outside.
Yeah, we were watching the selection show, and Clark Kellogg seemed to love Jacksonville State, so they kind of get a cupcake bid here due to the Bellarmine situation.
Mm-hmm.
But they got an opportunity here to be a 15 seed that knocks off a 2 seed, not a struggling 2 seed. I mean, Auburn's still a very good team, but you know what I mean. You know, obviously St. Peter's isn't going to be that team that knocks off Kentucky. That's just not going to happen.
Can't believe
Cal State Fullerton is not going to be the team that knocks off Duke. I'm not going to say Delaware. I'm not going to say the Blue Hens have no shot against Villanova. But Jacksonville State over Auburn is definitely the best chance the 15 seed has this year.
Especially right now, like we just said, the way Auburn's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn's not hitting their shots, and Jacksonville State, while they didn't reach the tournament championship, they're still playing pretty well. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think that is the best shot that we have at CNA, 2 over 15.
What are some of your
Or 15 over
Yeah.
2, sorry.
So I have a few potential upsets that I'd like to look at, and usually it's the 12 over 5 seeds that get the most attention. I have a lot of 13 seeds this year that could actually make some noise. My best one that I'm probably actually going to pick to win, South Dakota State over Providence. I'm not a big fan of Providence. I know you are. A lot of people are buying into the Ed Cooley alligator blood.
Alligator blood, baby.
And it's true. They do pull out some wins at the end of the year. But ultimately, they did in the Big East tournament this week. They were playing Butler, and they were losing the whole game. And somehow at the end, I checked, and I'm like, Providence won. Somehow they fought it out and won at the end. And after that game, I was like, well, maybe I should get on the Providence train. Maybe this actually is a good team. Very next night, they lost to Creighton, I'm pretty sure. And they got blown out.
Yeah, it was bad.
85-58.
Nope,
Frauds. Providence is frauds. If you do pick them to win that game, that's fine, but they will get destroyed by Iowa in the next round. That's all I'm saying.
All I will
say,
say,
will not make it to Sweet 16.
They did lose in a palindrome.
Okay.
So you never know. Palindrome could play some kind of effect into winning in a palindrome game against South Dakota State. Yeah, I see what you mean. The reason why I think you and plenty of other people don't believe in them is because, well, wait a minute. Why are they even in these tough situations in the first place if they're that good? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, why are they losing to these teams to start with and then having to make these mastered comebacks with, high pressure shots down the stretch of their games? Because sometimes, those shots just don't really fall in the tournament. Sometimes they do, though. And it wouldn't – here's another thing, though. I think you can even agree to this because you just said this. It wouldn't shock me, though, either if Providence beat South Dakota State on a buzzer beater 3.
Yeah, and that would suck for South Dakota State. But one thing that I do want to talk about with South Dakota State is that their record is 30-4. They are one of 3 30-win teams this year. Arizona obviously being one at 31 wins. They bring the most wins into this tournament out of any team. And Murray State is the other one. They are 30-2. So that's another thing you have to look at with South Dakota State. I think they went undefeated in their conference. I'm checking it right now. They lost to Alabama. They lost to Missouri State. That's kind of a tough loss. They lost to Idaho. Oh, wow. And no, they did have one conference loss, it looks like.
But then they got hot.
Yeah, they haven't lost since.
Was it before Christmas?
Win. Feel like I'm singing a song right now. No, since December 15th against Missouri State.
Oh, they haven't lost. They haven't lost since Christmas.
Since before Christmas. Yes. That's almost 3 months ago, Christmas was. And that was the last – no, actually, yeah, December 15th would be 3 months by the time this show's out.
Yeah, by the time that they play again.
So they are hot. Oh, they lost to Washington as well.
Who was a bubble team for a little bit.
Yeah.
On the fringe.
Yeah. And, they beat teams like Montana State, who's in the tournament. George Mason, coached by Kim English. They beat Washington State on the road.
Wazoo.
Yeah, that's a big win. And then obviously they ran through their conference, went undefeated against every single team. Pretty much handily winning every single game up until the championship, where they had a close one with North Dakota State.
That's a rivalry game, though, so that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, it's a championship game. Iowa and Richmond, that's a tough draw for both Iowa and Richmond. Iowa, that is such a miss seat. That is a miss by the committee on that one. I don't care if they don't really look at the conference tournaments here, other than the auto bids. Iowa should have been higher than a 5 seed. they're playing right. They just won the Big Ten championship, and the Big Ten has 9 teams in this tournament.
I just
And
don't.
they just beat all of them. They beat Purdue, who's a 3 seed, pretty handily. They are hot right now. They got so much experience.
I just don't get how they couldn't take the tournaments into account. They're higher pressure games than regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just a fact. And back to the Texas A&M thing, just real quick. I'm just thinking about it here. Alabama went 19-12. Texas A&M went 23-12, and they also made it to the SEC championship. So that just shows right there that maybe they just really do not look that much into the tournament games.
Mm-hmm. Jay Billis would pick Arizona to lose in the Final Four. Yeah. I mean, but every single bracketologist that I looked at this morning had Texas A&M in the tournament. So I don't know if the loss to Tennessee really made that big of a difference or if the bracketologists were just way off.
Yeah, I mean, they did lose by 15. And like I was telling you earlier when I was watching that game, it was like the closest it seemed like they were able to get down, towards the end of the game was 13. So I guess maybe it's just like, oh, Cinderella running out of luck here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what they saw. But I don't know. I still feel like they had enough to get in for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. So that was one of my upsets. Another one that you have to look at is Loyola Chicago over Ohio State. I think that'll be a very, very popular pick. And understandably, Ohio State is struggling right now. They've lost
another wonky record.
Yeah, they've been losing a lot here as of late. Loyola Chicago obviously has Sister Jean and the Nun power on their side. I would pick them. Chattanooga is another team you have to look at. I know they got some national attention last week when they hit that buzzer beater to clinch. If they didn't miss that or if they didn't make that shot, Furman goes to the tournament instead. They play Illinois, which is a really tough draw for them because Illinois, I think, is a really good team, but they also have been really inconsistent this year. But they still have the title roster. It's like the Lakers. Like the Lakers have the talent on the roster, they just aren't playing right now. That's kind of what Illinois reminds me of. So
LeBron's playing.
Yeah, LeBron's like Kofi.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun matchup for sure. That one has the potential to be an upset, but it also has the potential to be a blowout at the same time. So, UAB over Houston. This could be a fun one.
Jelly fam, Jelly Walker, Jelly Jordan Walker. If you don't know who that is, you'll learn his name pretty fast if he's able to upset Houston. But you may have already learned his name in the tournament. Conference USA tournament. He dropped 40. They were a part of the triple overtime game against Middle Tennessee State, which ended in 102-98 victory for UAB. And then the Blazers took down LA Tech in the championship. Jelly Walker dropped 40 against Mid-Tennessee State. And then earlier in the year, a month before the Mid-Tennessee State game, when he played Mid-Tennessee State during the regular season, he dropped 42 against them, and they also won. Stud guard.
UAB's kind of been a favorite out of that conference all year. I know North Texas has also been up there.
They dropped it.
Yep. UAB also. They ultimately end up with the bid. They play Houston, which is a really good draw for them because Houston, while they have a good record, they don't have a lot of quality wins, and they're a very injured squad right now. They did just win the American Athletic Conference Championship today, though.
Dominated.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, they did dominate Memphis, who is very hot right now. So that'll be a fun matchup as well. Both those games are in the Arizona bracket, so I will be enjoying those. Hopefully those younger teams or the smaller teams can beat up on some of the big dogs to help Arizona out here. I don't care if we have a Mickey Mouse run. As long as we get to the Final Four, that's all that matters. I don't care who we have to beat to get there. Although we have a potentially really, really fun route here. And I don't want to get ahead of myself because Arizona does have a history of choking before the Final Four. But I am going to pick them in the Final Four because they're a 1 seed, and I want to root for my bracket at the same time as them. So hopefully we don't lose to a 16 seed. I know Bryant and Peter Kiss can be a problem for us, but oh my God, I don't know what I would do if we would lost to them.
That would be incredible.
It would be
It
horrible.
would be incredibly sad for you, but for the sport, if
Oh my
Peter Kiss
God.
was able to like reach a Sweet 16 solo, oh my God, that would be insane.
Oh, okay, we're just gonna pretend that doesn't happen and hope to God that doesn't. That game should be probably one of the last ones of the first round, I would assume.
Probably a late nighter.
Yeah, on Friday night, which is fine because
Yeah, we don't have
like
school.
the one time I don't have anything this week. So
Yeah.
Seton Hall, TCU. I think TCU will win that. Like I said, I don't like the Big East this year. TCU is a fun team. They did beat Kansas a few weeks ago at Kansas, or no, at TCU. So they have the potential to beat the big dog. That'll be a team that we actually have to look out for. But if we are able to get past those two teams and make it to the Sweet 16, this is where it gets fun because we have the potential to play Illinois, which we played earlier this year at Illinois and we beat them. So that would be a revenge game for Illinois, which would scare me a little bit, but it would also be, a fun rematch. And then if we were to win that, we could be looking at Tennessee here. And this is a rematch for us because this is the only team that we played and don't have a win against this year. Because we lost to Colorado and UCLA, but we also beat them twice. So it's the only team that we don't have a winning record against this year that we played. And this would be huge momentum for Arizona if we were able to go into Tennessee and revenge them. Looks like Arizona women's team gets a 4 seed in the tournament. Kind of cool there.
Yeah, I think right now you can do the same here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and give 4 locks that aren't 1 seed related. None of them are 2 seed related.
Okay, that's fair.
Out of the West, lock Connecticut over New Mexico State. Lock it in.
That's a tough one.
For me, that's not a tough one.
Well, I will pick Connecticut in that, but I just don't know that much about New Mexico State. I never really do. It seems like they always are in the tournament, like as a 12 or 13 seed. You just never know much about them, but they never really make any noise.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't see them doing that this year. I think 12 seeds are really high for them. I'm surprised they got to 12 over South Dakota State.
And then in my East, my lock in the East, pretty obvious, but it's still my lock. Purdue over Yale. No way that the smarty pants people can overtake Jaden Ivey and Zach Edey
and Matt Painter. Yeah. I'm gonna give a lock out of that one too.
And then for my South region, I have Tennessee over Longwood for sure. No doubt about it. I know that you want them to bring the Longwood into the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee's obviously the better team, but we'll see if Longwood brings the Longwood into the tournament.
Yeah,
so
maybe they could go deep wood into the tournament. It's a possibility, but not for me. Tennessee over Longwood, lock it in. I know I've given 2 3 over 14 picks. Nothing crazy.
I do find it funny how Longwood, their mascot is the Lancers, which is another term for a horse. So just another fun fact about Longwood is that they're horse. So
yeah, long-wooded horses.
Yeah, so, exactly. So they pretend with a name like that, you got to have at least a little bit of worry.
And then my lock of the Midwest region is Iowa over Richmond. Lock it in. That's who I would take. No question about it over the Spiders. Spiders are going to run out of gas here. My honorable mention in the Midwest, Wisconsin over Colgate. I think Johnny Davis is going to be ready to go.
Yep, that's my lock in that one.
So,
I'll give some locks too. Out of the East region, which is Baylor's, I'm going to say UCLA over Akron. I know the Zips, out of the MACtion. I just don't think they have the talent to compete with UCLA. UCLA, they've been kind of injured this year. That's what's kind of hindered their seed. But, I watched them play against Arizona, and they are one hell of a team. They can play some basketball. They obviously made it to the Final Four all the players that went to the Final Four last year are on the team this year.
Important.
Look out for them to make another run to the Final Four. The lock I have in the West region, which is Gonzaga's, is Texas Tech over Montana State. Montana State is simply, I mean, they won the Big Sky regular season and tournament championship, but they're just not on the same level as Texas Tech. No way Texas Tech loses that game. Another lock out of the I'll go Tennessee and Longwood too, because Tennessee is just really, really good. Obviously that Kennedy Chandler beast, and out of the Midwest region, I'll say Wisconsin Colgate.
Yeah,
Colgate. I don't know much about them, but not going to do it.
Yeah, I do know that they're toothpaste, so I don't
true.
really know if they can overtake Johnny Davis.
So their breath may smell nice, but it ultimately it matters about what's on the court.
Yeah,
so,
I'd rather take Bucky,
the
Badger.
Oh, okay. Now, obviously, the fun part about these tournaments is the 8-9 matchups and the 7-10 matchups. They're always toss-ups, right?
Yeah. It's like 73 and 71 over the past, so-and-so years.
I think the 7 seeds, they're up by like 20 wins over the 10 seeds. It's a little bit more, but literally the 8-9s is literally a toss-up game. I think 9 actually may have more wins than 8 by 2. It's 73-71 in one direction or the other. They showed it. I don't remember which one, but I think it's the 9. I'm going to go ahead and pick I'll wait on that one. I'm going to head pick TCU out of the South to beat Seton Hall. I'm going to pick San Diego State to beat Creighton. Obviously, I'm not a Big East guy. I'm going to pick North Carolina over Marquette, obviously. And the 8-9 Boise State and Memphis, that's a tough one.
That one's freaking tough.
They're neck and neck teams, and they're both hot. I'm gonna say Boise State for fun.
Both blue.
Yeah. I might go with Memphis.
Both really cool. Both really cool Jersey schools.
Mm-hmm. I'll go with Boise
Especially
State
football
because of potatoes.
Yeah. Give
Yeah.
Give
And
a nod to the Potato Bowl.
And the Broncos. They just acquired Russell Wilson, so they'll probably have some Russell Wilson magic on their side.
Yeah, there's a lot of Tigers in this bracket. Memphis Tigers, LSU Tigers, Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, there's a lot. For 7-10 matchups, I'm going to go ahead and give mine too. Pick the 10s this year. Davidson over Michigan State. Davidson's underrated. They did lose to Richmond today. Really tough game. They got some Asian dude on their team. I forget what his name is, but he's a baller.
Oh, yeah, number 1.
Yeah. I forget what his name is, but he is a baller. Davidson's just a fun team to watch. And you'll see them absolutely dismantle Izzo. Some call him March, actually. But his name is Izzo, and he will be demoted back to Tom Izzo, not Tom March, this year with the blowout with Davidson. Michigan State just doesn't have the firepower to compete. Loyola Chicago over Ohio State. I mentioned that earlier. Murray State and San Francisco. This is a tough one. This is a fun 7-10 matchup. This is a matchup that we don't know a lot about these teams. San Francisco started off the year really hot. Murray State finished the year really hot. Ultimately, I'm going with Murray State there. 30 wins. You can't beat that. USC and Miami. I don't know a lot about Miami. I know USC is a little bit of frauds, but I think 7th seed is a valid ranking for them. You know, with their record that they had, you can make an argument that they could be a 4 or 5 seed.
Especially with the type of wins that they had in that conference.
Exactly.
In that conference. Conference of Champions.
In that conference, that's a
Bill Walton.
Honestly, with their record and their wins, they probably should have been a 5 seed, but I think maybe some of the people picked up that they're a little bit fraudulent. And so I think they're correctly rated here at a 7 seed. And Miami is not, I think they're part of the weak ACC this year. I think they're a victim of that. So I'm going to pick USC.
Off the bat, I was a little, like I was talking about, UNC is in the death group, the death region. I'm already talking myself into a Sweet 16. I can see
I can see it.
I can see us beating Marquette, and then I can see us beating Baylor. After that, it's a little sketch, but I can see us beating up on a banged up Baylor team.
Well, I'm not real familiar with Baylor this year because I know they lost a lot of people to the draft. Jared Butler, Davion Mitchell, from their championship team last year. And the one guy that had been there for like 6 years too. They lost. I forget what his name is, but he had been there for a long time. But apparently they're really injured right now. They have a lot of injuries, so I could definitely see North Carolina doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would. That would just be fun. They've had a weird season, so it'd be nice to see UNC make the Sweet 16. It's been a little bit, but yeah, I'm talking myself into that for sure.
I may pick it for fun too.
Yeah, and I know. I talked earlier in a recent episode that sometimes picking against your team can help your morale a little bit, because if they lose, you're right, but if they win, you don't even care. They're moving on in the dance. So, Luke, not a fan of that. I respect that, what you're doing though too. If you just ride Arizona all the way.
Well, I didn't say I was picking them to win the championship yet. I just said Final Four. I want to pick them to win the championship, but at the same time, I know it's probably not going to happen. So, Final Four for sure. I can guarantee that, though.
I'll tell you this. Last night's game against UCLA may have won me over. I haven't decided just yet, but Arizona might be my champ. And I'm sorry if that makes you feel a little worried, but I'm pumped about that team. I think that they are incredible. Their defense at the end of that game was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're talking about their defense. They're the top scoring offense in the league.
I know. That's just the defense is the cherry on top,
and it's not just offense. And they're not like a big 3-point shooting team either. They don't shoot the lights out.
Yeah,
they are a highlight play team. They make fantastic passes. They are a phenomenal passing team. They're number 1 in assists in the nation. And they have some of the most electric dunks. All those guys on that team can throw it down with force, and it is so fun to watch. This is the greatest basketball team I've ever watched. I don't watch a lot of NBA, so that's why, because I haven't consistently watched one team throughout the NBA. But this is the best team I've watched, the greatest basketball team I've ever watched, like throughout one season. There's been some really fun Arizona teams too, with obviously the TJ McConnell years. The DeAndre Ayton season was a really fun one. A few years ago, whenever I'm trying to think what it was. I know it was when we were banned from the league. It was Brandon Williams, Brandon Randolph.
I think my favorite Arizona
Peter, that team was fun.
My favorite Arizona team, I think, was the Gordon teams. Aaron Gordon.
Oh, Aaron Gordon. I didn't really watch a lot.
I know. I understand what you mean. That was so. Believe it or not, I know I'm a huge football guy now, but when I was younger, it was actually the opposite, and it wasn't the NBA. I did not like the NBA when I was younger because I thought, this is gonna sound so dumb, I thought the NBA players were too good. Like they made, and it's true, if you watch NBA compared to college basketball, the NBA players make so many more shots. And I don't know, for some reason, I guess it just wasn't relatable enough for me when I was younger. Now, I'm talking about when I was like 10, 11, 12, and 13. I was a huge college basketball guy because, it was just more relatable to me. And the teams were, it was just different back then. I just wasn't as huge of an NBA fan. I wasn't quite the college football fan and NFL fan that I am now, but college basketball was king to me back then. And I remember that Arizona team with Aaron Gordon. I know you just talked about that. You think this Arizona team is one of the best basketball teams you've ever watched. I remember they kind of remind me of, they're not the same in how they really play, but in terms of how good they are, they remind me of the Louisville 2014 or 2015 national champion team with Peyton Siva. That was the Kevin Ware year when he tore his leg open. But oh my God, that team was so awesome in terms of college basketball and how good they were. That was one of my favorite teams to watch. And I'm not a Louisville fan, but that was an awesome season. Arizona
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of that, even though it's not really the same thing.
That's actually a fake championship that Louisville has, by the way. It got removed. They no longer have that championship.
Counts in my book.
But they did. Yeah, they did. They were the last team to win a game that year. Even though they might have not, they don't have a championship anymore. They were the last team to win a game that year, and that would be phenomenal if Arizona were to do that. That would make all the Packers' losses the last few years worth it.
Yeah.
If I got to have a college basketball championship. Because I first became an Arizona fan with the TJ McConnell years when they were like 6 seed, 3 seed in the tournament and stuff like that. That's when I very first became an Arizona fan. So I don't know much before that. TJ McConnell was like the first guy to introduce me into there. But there's been a lot of good teams since, a lot of good guys that have played at Arizona, and this is the best. This is the most fun team to watch. Like, I remember a few years ago when we had consistently been a really good team, but then we had the DeAndre Ayton stuff hit us and the allegations, and our team wasn't as good. So we had the guy like transfers from Duke, like Chase Jeter. And that was a few years ago. But even before that, when we had Lauri Markkanen, that was a fun team.
Yeah.
That was before DeAndre Ayton, that Lauri Markkanen. That really solidified my fandom as an Arizona fan. So this is by far the best team. This is the best. I've never actually felt confident about an Arizona team until now. Like, as long as we play our A game, we're not losing.
Yeah.
But the problem is we have to play our A game every single game.
Speaking of A game, now you can say this for a lot of teams, but for the Tar Heels especially, I mean, we saw it on display, not last night, but the Saturday before that when they went into Cameron Indoor, or Hansborough Indoor, as some Heels fans call it, and just picked apart Duke. And they can do that to just about any team, but they have to play like that and not like how they played 2 nights ago against Virginia Tech. So they have the capability. But a lot of teams have that capability. We've always talked about Memphis having that capability, and a team like Wisconsin can have that capability and stuff like that. So we'll see. It's just it's gonna be fun next couple of weeks, man.
Oh yeah. It's always fun watching the games during school. Yeah, that's always the best part about it. I remember in the past we've had school off. Like it's been over spring break that when the first round of the tournament is, but this year that's not the case, unfortunately. But
second round though.
Yep, second round will be off, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, and Friday we're off school, so we'll be getting to watch a bunch of first round games then too. So really freaking excited. But so yeah, I think we could talk about this, I think, for a while, but and we said this was going to be a college basketball episode. It is, but there's just one.
Oh yeah,
small bit of news
happened a little
just
an hour ago.
I guess now it's been about an hour, but the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, the best quarterback to ever set foot on a football field, will be unretiring and rejoining the Buccaneers still in the offseason.
This big monkey off the back for the Buccaneers. They don't have to go searching for a quarterback or put their faith in Trask or Gabbert.
Start next season.
Yeah.
But more importantly, Brady's back. He's back.
Yeah, it's funny we just got done talking about the NFC South and how it's wide open. And with this Brady being back, I think it's because not only will Brady come back, but he'll also probably bring a lot of people like Leonard Fournette, maybe Ryan Jensen, who are supposed to become free agents.
Gronk was thinking about leaving.
Yeah, all those guys probably running it back again. So they're back.
Yeah.
NFC South is on lock once again.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the Deshaun Watson thing, and, it seemed like that was open. He would have to go up against Matt Ryan twice, which, formidable quarterback, but not as fun to play against Tom Brady twice, home and away, no matter what. So I'm in shock by it. It's awesome. He was just at a soccer game overseas. He was watching Ronaldo, who I think had a hat trick, And I think he realized he's like, man, I don't want to be in the stands anymore. I want to get back on the field. It only took him 2 months to realize that he didn't want to be in the stands anymore. Instead, he wanted to be back on the field. I think it was pretty respectable. He had that little retirement thing. He took a lot of time off to think about it. He retired. He thanked a lot of people, Buccaneers, teammates, fans, Patriots Nation. Well, he's back, and he's ready to run it back. And they instantly back to Super Bowl contender for the Buccaneers.
Yep. Unfortunate for the Packers. Yeah, I think we'll find out more in the coming days with free agency here, how much it affects the league. So, yeah, it was supposed to be a strictly college basketball episode, but that obviously had to be said.
Yeah.
One of the biggest news of we just had a huge football episode, and this probably tops it all. So,
yeah, it's just shocking. He took some time off, and that's all he needed to realize that he's not done, in fact. And I can totally see it. This was one of his best statistical years ever. And it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to retire in terms of if he wasn't as old as he was. If he was like 35 and he retired at something like after a season like this, it would be like, whoa. But since he was like 43, it made sense. But I understand why he's coming back. They can win a Super Bowl, and that's what he wants.
Yep. And it's a new storyline to create, too.
Yeah.
He retired, and he came back and won a Super Bowl. So
yeah. It's like Michael Jordan, 2 GOATs.
Yep.
Michael Jordan came back and won a title. 3 of them, actually.
Yeah.
And then he did it again and just averaged like 20 points per game, but whatever.
All right, you want to give a final 4 to wrap up this episode?
Yeah.
Here? All right. You got it first.
Not unofficial.
Unofficial
Final 4. First look, Final 4s here. Definitely going to take Gonzaga. I'm going to take Kentucky. I'm going to go ahead and take I'll skip that region. Arizona. So Gonzaga, Kentucky, Arizona, and I will go with
Kansas or Iowa.
Iowa.
Wow, that's a hot pick, but Iowa. Fun fact about Fran McCaffrey, their head coach, family business, never made it to a Sweet 16.
This is the year.
Despite being, it might be the year because, look at the teams they have to beat to get there. They got to beat Richmond, which is hot, and then either Providence or South Dakota State, who I think they will easily run through.
Yeah.
Might be the year they go to the Sweet 16, and once they do that, then sky's the limit. My Final 4, I'm going to go with Arizona. Obviously, I said that already. I'm going to go with Kansas as well. I do think the Kansas-Iowa matchup will be fun, but ultimately, I think it'll be Kansas. Obviously, Auburn, another top-tier system there that, they might, but Kansas right now is the play. In the East Division. This is unofficial.
Unofficial.
I'm gonna do a fun pick here. UCLA, UCLA.
That would be so fun. I'm like that would be super fun.
I have them beating Baylor or whoever in that. I have them in the Elite 8. So it'll either be them. Purdue obviously is a team that could do it as well. That one is. Who is going to come out as a Final 4 in that one? You got so many teams that, you got Kentucky. You got Baylor, the one, who's probably not even the favorite to come out of that.
Wouldn't it be funny, though? Wouldn't it be funny, though, if Baylor just ran through the entire bracket? Just like, oh, okay, maybe they are just looking to repeat.
Yep, that would be funny. But, you have so many contenders. Like, it's not teams that, like, oh, they could go, like, they're contenders.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue, Kentucky, UCLA, Texas, I would say, would be a contender, and Baylor. That's 5. In one spot. I can maybe name 2 or 3 in every other one. In this one I can name Arizona and Illinois.
I would say Tennessee in yours too.
In Tennessee, yeah. I wouldn't say Villanova's a contender. In this one, Kansas, Iowa, Auburn, Gonzaga, and Duke, and the other one, Texas Tech even. I got to pick one more Final 4, I guess. Gonzaga or Duke?
Duke is not getting that far. I don't think they are.
Well, I
is
think we're about to find out if it's rigged or not.
I was hoping that there'd be another ACC team in this side of the bracket, but there's not. I was hoping for an ACC team to go up against Duke. That would be fun.
I'll pick Duke. Once again, this is unofficial. So I have Duke, UCLA,
Jesus Christ.
Arizona, and Kansas.
Oh my God, the slopper fest if that happens. Jesus Christ.
No. Okay, actually, I don't want that to happen. I'll pick what I want to happen. All right. I want Gonzaga.
Oh, it's
win.
unofficial.
It's unofficial. I'm changing it though. It's official now. Gonzaga in the Final Four, along with UCLA, Arizona, and Kansas. Arizona to the championship. If Arizona's in the championship and has to play either Gonzaga or UCLA, that's a fun matchup either way. Arizona, UCLA, we saw that last night, how fun that can be. And Arizona, Gonzaga, which is what I'm going to pick, which will be a very popular pick. Obviously, it's the two best seeds. That would be, obviously, we were talking about Arizona. The revenge matchups with Illinois and Tennessee, that would be fun along the way. But to play Gonzaga in the national championship, let's give some context here. Tommy Lloyd is in his first season as Arizona's head coach. He has spent 20 years as the assistant coach to Mark Few at Gonzaga. To have them play each other in the national championship would be truly incredible. One of them would finally get the national championship. And I think it'd be funny if Tommy Lloyd was the one to get it over Mark Few. But if that is the case, I honestly think Mark Few would never win at Gonzaga. Like, if he sees his assistant go to a Power 5 school and beat him in the championship, he's like, all right, there's nothing I can do here anymore. Which would be sad because as much as I hate Gonzaga, they are a mid-major school, and they've been consistently good. And so this is, I think, probably their best chance. I mean, last year was a great chance too, but Baylor was really good. This might be their best chance to win.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to do it at some point. They got to win at some point.
I don't know if this is their best chance to win.
They got Chet.
I don't know if this is their best chance. I feel like it was last year.
They got Nemhard.
Man, I don't know. Yeah, but stay tuned. We're gonna get ready to kind of wrap up this show here.
Yeah.
But
I think we may do similar style next week where we'll have our normal episode on Sunday. We'll record on Sunday, tape it or release it on Monday. And then we might have another one that's strictly NCAA, just recapping the games.
Yeah. Follow the Twitter, please. There. Maybe Instagram as well. I'm not really sure how Instagram works. We will leave a link for our bracket challenge. We're going to have fan-wide Show Me Show podcast bracket challenge. We'll be in it as well.
Yep.
We'll enter our own brackets. You can enter your bracket, and we'll all be facing off against each other to see who has the best bracket.
Winner will be announced on the show. We'll be giving a shout out to the winner. Unless it's one of us, obviously we'll shout ourselves out. Yeah. But
and then stay tuned. We haven't really quite figured this out, but there may be a YouTube video coming out soon as well, along with the two shows that's just us talking about our bracket filled out. Yeah. And that will be a shorter, kind of like a Show Me Show podcast short video.
Yeah, just like a fun video.
So yeah, stay tuned for that. So Twitter, make sure to follow that so you can play in our bracket challenge. You could just submit a fun bracket. Maybe not one that you fully believe in, but it could be just for fun. And then stay tuned for the YouTube as well. And
Yep. One last thing. The jacket that I've been talking about, that every time I wear it for Arizona, we win. I'm wearing it right now for the YouTube. That's it. It will be worn every single game we play. Especially if we play Bryant. I was going to say maybe except for the 16 seed, but if we play them, I will be a little bit worried. I will be wearing the jacket every single day. And I don't care if I wear it out because I'd rather wear it and us lose than me not wear it and then us lose. Yeah, because I feel like I would have something to do with it. So it will be worn a lot here in the next few weeks. Hopefully in the next few weeks anyway. Hopefully we make it that far.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what was your champion? You just gave your Final Four.
Oh, Arizona. Unofficial, but could be very official. Arizona right now.
Over
Oh, Kentucky.
Kentucky. Oh, that would actually be a little scary.
Yeah.
Not as fun as the Gonzaga Arizona one. I don't like to root for Gonzaga, but I will be for that matchup strictly this year. And so that they beat Duke.
Yeah.
So
all right. Well, we might try and work in some graphics to the YouTube as well to kind of just display what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that as well. Hope you guys enjoyed. Fill out your brackets. One of the best times of the year.
Yep.
Bracket season, man.
I will be looking at this the rest of the night, just like
So.
holding it and clutching it. And
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys soon.
Yep.